Thank you, Kara, and thanks everyone for calling in. I'm really happy to have the opportunity to talk with you today about the principles for Agile development and why my co-authors and I think that these are important. So, I'm assuming you called in because you're familiar with the Manifesto for Agile Software Development and the principles behind the Agile Manifesto. However, I think more people are familiar with the manifesto than they are with the principles, and there are 12 of them, and those principles I think are really key in effectively applying the concepts described in the manifesto. And this paper was written essentially to emphasize the fact that even though the word software shows up in a few of the principles, we think they are effective for teams, cross-functional teams that include both systems and software engineers, and can be applied to programs that include both hardware development and software development. And for many of our larger complex programs today, hardware development programs do include some level of software. Software is really controlling so many aspects of our world today that I think considering the software development aspect of that hardware system is really key to building the best system you can. So we think these principles really do apply to systems development effort today. So that these principles, when applied, help produce products more affordably in today's global marketplace, and that's consistent with the better buying power that has been updated several times and is one of the kind of hallmarks of Frank Kendall, the acquisition Department of Defense, Secretary of Defense acquisitions individual who's responsible for that. And it provides a foundation for working together to develop high-value capabilities iteratively. So with that, let's go on to the Agile Manifesto. I just want to, I'm assuming most people are quite familiar with the manifesto, that we emphasize, we think the values on the right are important, but we value the items on the left more. And I will just add to that that at the Boeing Company, we need the items on the right too. So in looking at how to apply Agile practices to our projects here at Boeing, we've had to answer both those questions, emphasizing the things left, but also answering the questions for the things on the right regarding our contracts, our documentation, and all of those things. So I will just add that the value realized in Scrum and Agile are practices that place humans, not processes or techniques, at the center of an organization. So let's continue to talk about the principles a little bit. I will just give you a little background on how this paper came to be. So the charts you're seeing today are really summarizing the concepts described in a paper written by my co-authors and I, and we're all listed at the bottom of this chart. We are members of a working group in the International Council on Systems Engineers, and this working group was chartered toward the end of 2012, and our first kind of brainstorming session on what we thought needed to be defined occurred in our international workshop in January of 2013. And at that workshop, my co-author Larry Rosser mentioned that she thought the need for defining how systems engineers work with large-scale software-intensive programs needed to be defined. And the four of us worked actively for the first several months of 2013 and wrote up a 35-page paper to address that and define it in the Department of Defense environment for EMD programs in the acquisition cycle. But a 35-page paper